We've heard you talk about the former president. You have called him a fraud, a con artist. You've said
a lot worse names than that.
He's a New Yorker like you, and you have watched this brand of BS.
I think of how absurd it is. And this might be the one case where that could be it for him. It's a state case. He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system.
Robert De Niro just compared Trump to Hitler. Yeah, you read that right. The guy who played Jake LaMotta is now taking on the ultimate political heavyweight. But before you roll your eyes at another celebrity rant, listen up. De Niro's not just talking smack, he's painting a pretty scary picture of where America might be heading. Want to know why this tough guy actor is so freaked out? Keep watching. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Now people, get ready for a fiery tirade against Trump from Robert De Niro that is hotter than a chili cook-off jalapeno eating competition.
Does it give you some sense, not of joy, but of relief at least, that he's potentially facing some consequences? Because as you've said before, this guy's a con artist, and he's gotten away with it for years.
I'm not calling him, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency. It's funny, I was just thinking that he actually became president. He could have done good things. Instead, he had to do it all wrong.
No holds barred. Our man Bobby D has more burns for Trump than a tanning bed malfunction. De Niro's insults are more than just confetti at a depressing clown parade. His portrayal of Trump is more terrifying than discovering a spider in your drawer of underwear. Furthermore, he is actually drawing comparisons between Trump and, wait for it, Hitler. Yes, you heard correctly. Guess who? Seems to be the worst game in the world. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, so grab your popcorn, people. What's so twisted about De Niro's Italian loafers? As it happens, he is concerned that Trump is being ridiculed in the same way that Hitler was. Do you recall how successful that was? Not great. Spoiler alert. Trump's bad hair days and his tweets that sound like they were sent by a toddler using a smartphone aren't the only things that worry De Niro. Instead, he's warning that Trump is a threat to democracy and not just a lousy president.
He's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, he's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. Thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so.
Trump seems to be attempting to make America the subject of his own reality show, with no way to switch the channel. The worst part is that De Niro isn't merely venting for the sake of it. He has some grave concerns that democracy is in jeopardy. At Thanksgiving dinner, he's like that cool uncle who has had enough of Trump's nonsense and doesn't hesitate to express it. Before it's too late, De Niro is standing tall and calling on everyone to wake up and smell the coffee of democracy. And let's face it, people pay attention to Robert De Niro when he speaks. We're not referring to a random Twitter troll here. This man is responsible for making "You Talking to Me" one of the most recognizable dialogues in film history. Therefore, it's like watching a heavyweight champion enter the ring alongside a man who believes that the WWE is real when he begins to drop truth bombs about Trump. The crucial question is whether De Niro's remarks will have an impact, or will they merely add to the already overwhelming criticism of Trump? One thing is certain, De Niro will not be giving up anytime soon. Only time will tell. He is like a dog with a bone, and Trump's toupee is the shape of that bone.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him, there's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see, ever. He's so, as we all know, so narcissistic and self-centered. I don't think they really understand. And historically, from what I see, even in Nazi Germany. They had it with Hitler.
People, it appears that De Niro's remarks caused more than just a stir. They set off a full-scale Trump storm. A masterclass in presidential pettiness was delivered by our favorite orange menace, who couldn't help but fire back. De Niro's criticism prompted Trump in his infinite wisdom to call him a very low IQ individual, because after all, there's nothing that says I'm a stable genius like doubting the intelligence of others. But there's still more. According to Trump, De Niro has endured too many blows to the head in his acting career. It seems that method acting in Trump's world entails real brain damage. Who could have known? However, what is the true icing on the cake of this word salad Sunday? There were 2 misspellings of the word "to" in Trump's tweet. That's correct, people. Even with all of his best words, the free world's leader was unable to correctly spell a 3-letter word twice. It is comparable to watching a spelling bee in which the sole competitor is an exceptionally perplexed orange. You may be thinking now, surely the President of the United States has better things to do than engage in Twitter spats with actors. You'd be correct, but we're talking about Trump here, the man who believes that governing is something you do in between fast food gorges and golf outings. Trump's communication style is exemplified by this entire mess. Trump takes aim at De Niro's personal grievances rather than addressing his genuine concerns about democracy. It's like watching a toddler yell, "You're stupid," while sticking out his tongue in an attempt to win an argument. This toddler is the only one with nuclear codes. The worst part is that this goes beyond 2 wealthy men hurling insults at one another. This has to do with the way our nation's leader handles criticism. Trump's go-to tactic is to disparage and insult rather than have meaningful conversations or, heaven forbid, reflect on himself. This tactic might be effective in a classroom, but when it comes from the Oval Office, it's a little worrisome. Not to mention how these outbursts on Twitter affect real policy debates. Real problems are getting sidelined while we're all too busy laughing or crying over Trump's most recent verbal diarrhea. Talking seriously while a clown is honking his nose in the background is like that. Distracting, to put it mildly. Okay, people, get ready for some serious conversation. As it happens, democracy isn't feeling very popular right now. Just 39% of Americans believe that our democracy is functioning effectively. Oh no, that would be a real crisis, as only 39% of people believe pineapple belongs on pizza. This is where things become interesting though. When De Niro was just that guy from Goodfellas, do you remember? Now, however, he is acting as a political superhero, rushing to defend democracy against the Orange Menace. According to experts, celebrities like De Niro have the power to spark political discourse among young people. Who could have known? Perhaps actors should take the place of all our politicians. Wait a minute, we tried that already. Thus, perhaps read up on some real politics the next time you're browsing Twitter instead of the Trump celebrity feuds. Who knows, you may even get to cast a ballot. And if you do, keep in mind that you should not take selfies in the polling booth. Don't do that until you've rescued democracy.